Hey guys, in today's episode, I am joined by the Disco Godfathers, otherwise known as DGF, an upcoming DJ duo from Toronto that you guys should have on your radar. Their eclectic and high energy sound of dubstep, trap, rhythm, and bass house influences keep their fans guessing and excited for their next release. And no, they do not make disco. Today we chat about what it's like DJing frat parties, crazy show memories, adjusting to quarantine life, and hustling to make a name for yourself in the industry. So with all that being said, let's get into today's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. What is going on, you guys? I'm your host, Emma Kapotes. Thank you all for tuning in this week. We've got a fun episode. I've been sitting on this one for like 3 to 4 weeks, so it feels good to finally get this out. Thank you to DGF for being patient and waiting for this. But you guys, I am so excited to share this duo with you. I'm really excited about their music, and they're somebody that you should be watching. You should have them on your radar. They're gonna have an EP coming out very soon, so I just wanted to get in there and get to know these guys, talk to them, see where their head's at, what they've been doing during quarantine, and just catch up. And I don't think I've had a DJ duo on yet, so there's a first for everything, and they're from Toronto, which is amazing. They are as nice as you guys would think they are, so we kind of cover a little bit of everything today, and I'm gonna get into that in just a second. But first off, I wanna thank everybody here for listening. Thanks for clicking on this episode, you guys. I really, really appreciate it. If you could do all of the things, follow on Instagram and Twitter at Rave Culture Cast. Make this your Instagram stories today, you guys. Tag us in it. That is a huge help. And send a link to a friend today. Introduce somebody new to the podcast. We all need new stuff to binge listen to. So, if you have any EDM fans in your life, definitely send them a link. And lastly, if you guys want to watch the episodes and watch the interviews, you can subscribe over on my YouTube channel, Emma Kapotes, for all that fun stuff. There's a whole Rave Culture Cast playlist over there. And lastly, if you guys are on Apple Music, throw a couple stars, maybe write a review if you're feeling saucy. Love you guys for doing that. We also have a Facebook group community, which we're almost at 300 members, guys. What the fuck? That is so exciting. So if you guys just want to talk about all things EDM, music festivals, rave related, definitely come join the Facebook group community. All right, I'm going to get into my listener of the week, but first I had my own personal shout out I wanted to do real quick. I got to shout out my girl Ryan at arbex23. Ryan has been an incredible supporter, listener, subscriber for a long time, and we've gotten to know each other, and now she is our first Facebook group admin, you guys. So huge shout out to Ryan. She's been such a big help, and I could not have picked a better person. So if you guys see her popping up in the Facebook group, say hello to her. Really excited to have her help and have her as a friend. So thank you so much, Ryan, for being such a big help with everything and being so supportive. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, and our listener of the week, you guys. So if you are unfamiliar, at the top of every episode, I like to shout out one of our listeners, and this is completely based on your nominations. So you guys can send an email to raveculturecast@gmail.com and nominate anybody in your life. It can be a listener to the podcast, a friend, family member, loved one, whatever, and just let me know why you want me to shout them out. So this one's coming from Tony. It says, "Hey Emma, my girlfriend and I are big fans of the podcast. Keep up the great content. I would like to shout out my girlfriend's new rave business. She has been working really hard on her Etsy shop making clip-in braid extensions for rave and festivals. Her Instagram and Twitter is at Dubs, D-U-B-Z, Barbie, B-A-R-B-I-E-Z, Dubs Barbies. The link for her shop will be in the bio." I'll link it, you guys. You know what? We'll do some free promo here. Why not? I love to see you guys out there hustling and creating your own companies and things like that in the festival industry. So we'll do some shout outs for now. Maybe later down the line I'll have to limit those, but really incredible, Tony and your girlfriend. If you guys need any clip-in braid extensions, go check it out. Support small businesses. And thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast and being supportive. I really, really appreciate it. So that is our listener of the week, you guys. All right, quickly, I'm gonna introduce our guests today, and then we will roll right into this interview because we've got a lot to cover. So I first off wanted to thank one of our listeners, Damo, for hooking this up. He was incredible. He reached out to the Disco Godfathers on my behalf. So thank you, Damo, for hooking this up. So what you guys should know before we get into things, the DGF guys are made up of two dudes, McBay and Culture, as they like to call themselves. They have a very cool sound. Like I mentioned, they kind of do a little bit of everything. Like they definitely have some more heavier songs that are like dubstep, and then they've got some rhythm. And then some of the tracks that I really like are more like bass house trap sounding. So it's very eclectic. And like I mentioned, they are working on an EP. I know they're trying to finalize that, so no date as of yet, but I can't wait to see what they put into it and what it's gonna sound like. So it definitely keeps their fans guessing, that's for sure. And like I mentioned, they do not make disco. Sorry to let anybody down, but go stream their songs on Spotify, they're fucking fire. And today, to be honest with you guys, was just a very laid back conversation. I really was just like getting to know them, like personally, getting to know them as artists, because we weren't as familiar with each other. Guys, go follow them on Instagram and Twitter at Disco Godfathers. And again, stay tuned for their EP dropping very soon. But their next single is going to be released on September 19th. Without further ado, let's introduce the guys of Disco Godfathers to the podcast.
Hey, how are you?
Yo, what's up?
I'm so excited you guys are here. I want to thank Dominic for hooking this up.
Yes, straight up.
Yeah, thank you. Domo. He goes by, we know him by Domo. He calls himself Domo.
He's the man. He's the man.
He's the man.
He's awesome. He reached out to me and was like, said the nicest things about you guys and your music. And I was like, okay, 100%, we got to do this.
That's amazing.
He is
huge
the
shout out
best.
to Domo, definitely.
Thank
you for having us. We're super stoked to be here as well. So
very excited to talk to you guys about music and a few other things. I've been doing my research on you guys.
exciting. We're excited to see what your research came out to.
Yeah, totally random. But I saw you guys were at EDC Orlando and you were at the Level Up Lounge.
We were, yes.
How was that experience?
It was pretty sweet, actually. We were playing at the Level Up Lounge with it was a lunchbox thing as well. So there was the two of them were there, and that was our first time at a festival like that. It was actually at home base, so and that is a crazy experience because we don't have resorts in Canada. We can't there's nothing like that. It's just your typical open.
Got it.
Or, community center type setup, but
right.
But yeah, so that was actually amazing. We got that set up just super last minute. And then we pulled up, and yeah, it was just perfect timing, I guess, because the shuffles were leaving for EDC. So it was getting a little bit busier and we started to actually play some originals and stuff. And we got some pretty good reactions just from people kind of walking through. So it was
home base is crazy.
Home base is nuts. I'd never seen, honestly, in Canada, we do not have that crazy of a scene, you know what I mean? It's like it was truly eye-opening to see like what was going on down there. For me personally, I was like, what? Yeah, this is sick.
Prime weekend, EDC Orlando weekend, so it was like there's everywhere there. Like, you could say the whole scene was there. It was the largest EDC Orlando they had.
Yeah, that was my first EDC Orlando. I wish I had stayed at home base. I think the whole concept of it is so interesting. Like, I definitely want to do an episode on that, but it is like combined with Florida, and then you have the EDC like energy. I went and stopped by there just to get some like footage of it, and I wish I stayed there because everybody there is going to the festival. Like, you have the pool parties, the after parties, it's all in one place, and then they shuttle you to the festival, so it's like the best of both worlds.
Oh, it's amazing.
Seriously. Yeah. We'd love to just go back and actually like attend the festival. We didn't have enough time to attend it because we were staying in Orlando and had a show that night as well.
Okay.
But we quick swung home after that and prepared for our show that night. But we didn't get a chance to even step on the festival grounds for EDC Orlando.
Wow. Okay.
It was really a whirlwind of a trip. We actually drove down to Florida.
Oh my God.
And we left on like the Friday that EDC started. So like a couple of our buddies were playing at Corona Electric Beach, and we were trying to make it like that night, and it just had like, we ended up leaving at like 5 p.m.
Oh,
and
wow.
That's a 24-hour drive. So we didn't really get there until 5 p.m. And then by the time we got there, it was like, we need to sleep. So we missed out on the whole Friday.
Yeah, we need to sleep. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, seriously. But
it's a cool
fun adventure.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let me back. I just had to ask you about that because I was like, that's so awesome. But just to kick things off, I would love it if you guys could just introduce yourselves, where you're from, what you do, and then how long you've been involved in the dance music community.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess we'll do it separately. I'll go
first. You go first,
bro. My name is Brandon. I go by McVeigh, part of the Disco Godfathers. We've been a duo together now for about a year. A little bit of history behind DGF. We were actually a trio for our first 2 years.
Yep.
And we had our third man. We just decided to part ways last year in August. So coming up on about a year. Other than that, we've been producing together, just the two of us. Even before Disco Godfathers, just kind of making collaborative projects like McVeigh Culture. And then we started playing a lot of shows, like frat parties and stuff like that. And that's when we started to realize, like, instead of just doing all these back-to-backs, we should just, start to create something. And that's at the time when there was 3 of us. So we kind of took our route more so on YouTube, because we didn't really produce music at the time. We're talking like 2016 now.
Okay.
And yeah, we didn't really produce much music. So we just kind of started vlogging our shows at frat parties, at some of the bars that we got. And then we started throwing our own shows with some of the local DJs that we have in the area here.
Nice.
And then we kind of just created content that way. And when we came to, our crossroads with our third member, that's when we kind of decided to take producing more seriously. We took like 6 months and kind of went full blackout, and started a rebrand, and just started stacking up tunes. And that was about a year ago. So that's where we're at now. But I've been raving since 2013. My first show was Swedish House Mafia. I was super
nice.
Lucky. I caught them on their last tour. And yeah, I've been going to festivals ever since. Since we've started to take the music thing more seriously, I just haven't been able to find the time with balancing work and everything to go attend a festival. Sure. But every time we go in, we play shows and stuff like that. It always brings back those really good memories and good vibes. The community lives on everywhere. We're like, have fun, bar shows, everything. It's always good vibes.
Yep.
And what about you,
brother? Who are you?
Oh, who am I? I don't know. I don't know who I am. My name is Liam Cormier. I go by Culture. I don't know why I go by Culture. It just kind of happened. People just call me K. They're just like, hey, K, how's it going? I'm like, I don't know. How's life, man? It's just, I play a bunch of instruments. I play drums, guitar, piano. I'm kind of like a multitask kind of guy in the instrument world. And, basically, when I started chilling with McVeigh back in high school, me and him met in high school, and we started, the good old days, right? And he actually, the first time we ever met, he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, man, you look like you smoke weed," and I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah,
and he's like,
some terms, right?
Yeah. And then we went and smoked weed, and then we were like, "Hey, do you do music?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I DJ." I'm like, "What's DJing? I don't know what that is. Show me this."
I play instruments.
I play instruments. I'm a singer-songwriter, right? I don't know this. I didn't know the EDM world at all. And then this guy showed me what it was like, and I was like, "What is this?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, and then we just kept going from there. He just showed me how to produce, because he was really like progressing fast and producing and like DJing and all that. And I was just kind of like following him as his bro, and just kind of being along as like supporting him, as a friend.
Right.
And then he kind of was like, "Hey man, like, let's do something." And then we started DJing those frat houses, and then we started doing parties.
We just started to realize like how powerful both of our talents could be together in the studio. Like,
yeah.
Right.
Technical.
Okay.
I could arguably say I'm a computer geek. But Cormier is very much so like physical. So instruments to him are just like, he can pick them up and read them like a book.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So once we figured out how we could just do that in the studio, it's been a different journey, to say the least.
Yeah. I was going to ask you guys, do you feel like you balance each other out in a certain way? But like, how do you feel performing live as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. Performing live is, I would say
that's accurate as hell.
We're like very similar. Like when, we're just very similar people in general, but when it comes down to performing, like we're very different under pressure.
But it balances out in the end.
That's what I mean. And that's that's kind of the blessing. It does balance out. So
yeah.
Like one of us would be more nervous before a show, and the other one would be able to kind of keep us grounded. And then once we get up on stage, get through that intro, those first couple songs,
he
comes out. Like,
he threw up right before a show, and I was like knocking on the. It was like, actually, it was in Florida, because this is actually a crazy story. So
yes,
I'll explain a little summary here. So it's big, but So basically our flight got canceled the first time we were supposed to go to Florida to play a show.
24 hours before we were like, literally 24 hours before our airline's like, oh yeah, we forgot to book airspace. We're like, oh.
What? What do you mean you forgot to book airspace? What is this?
This is like a swoop flight. So like, it wasn't any, like we were going.
Yeah. So we're going and so we're trying to get on this flight and then all of a sudden it's canceled and we're like, what are we going to do? So we hop in the car and we're like, we're going to drive. We're going to make it. Wow. And we push all the way and we don't sleep and we finally get there and we probably sleep for like 5 hours. And we wake up after a nap and I look at McVay and he's just like,
I was probably so white, like he was white as a ghost.
He looked terrible. Yeah. And I was like, oh no. Yeah, exactly. I was like, dude. And we had a trio at the time. And I'm looking at my buddy. I'm like, yo, what are we going to do with him? And then we went to go get tacos, right?
Yeah. We like the promoter, we were playing with
Not
Lizzie
a good idea.
Jane, actually.
Yeah, just thinking that, no.
Yeah. We were opening up for Lizzie Jane and she was doing a meet and greet at this taco place right across the street. And the promoter asked us, he's like, hey, do you guys want to come to the meet and greet? And we're like, obviously, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we pull up to this meet and greet and I probably was sitting down at the table for like 5 minutes. I got a tomato soup.
Not a good idea.
Oh man, it was just the worst decision of my life. And we went back to sat down. Like I ate the soup and then I had to go stand outside and get some fresh air. I was still not feeling it. Went down.
Oh God.
And died.
Just low key died.
It was kind of.
That was our first like show in North America though.
Yeah.
So there was definitely a lot of nerves. Like and that was with like our third member as well. So that definitely helped the drive because we had 3 people for the drive. But second and the third time we've done it, we've only had 2 people. So it's been like, one man takes the wheel for 12 hours, the other man takes the wheel for 12.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and we're driving just us 2 because we had 3 people. It was kind of nice because like it was able, shout out to our buddy. He's not here with us right now, but I'm just gonna shout him out because we miss you, bro. We miss you, dude. What's up, dude? We're still boys with him, and he's an awesome dude. But he's just he just did his thing, and we do our thing, right?
Yeah, we just went different ways.
Exactly.
I got it.
Yeah, but when we're driving us 2, it's sometimes so difficult. We'll be like, okay, like
cranking monsters, like monsters for life. I work for Monsters, so it's blessed.
Oh wow, that's awesome. What are you playing in the car? Like, who's in control of the tunes?
Oh, that's a good question. It's normally my car, so my phone gets synced to Bluetooth right away. So
I get yelled at.
Yeah, so I get control of the music, but I'm driving, right? So he can just take my phone and put something on. Yeah. I'm left with the steering wheel controls, but no, we're pretty good for that. We are always like, I feel like we're always on like the same vibe. We kind of know what we want to play. Like, for example, on the way home today, we just kind of threw on a bunch of like live sets. Like I was listening to some live sets from like Digital Dreams, which is a festival here in Canada from 2014. Oh, nice. Some brownies and lemonade sets, like just stuff like that like we had a 3-hour drive. So that's kind of most of the time the vibe. So we never really have too many arguments.
I mean, I
on music requests at least.
I would say, I guess. I mean, I sometimes like to play, like, I don't know, I'm everywhere. I like to play like 90s grunge music a lot, and he hates that. And I know that's like, I don't know, that stuff inspires me because I used to play guitar and like I was a drummer and stuff. But he's just like in the car and I'll throw that on once in a while and he'll just look at me and be like, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, what did you guys listen to like before this? Because I feel like a lot of people who are in dance music now went through like an emo and punk phase in high school.
You are correct. 100%. You are correct.
Linkin Park for me was like my go-to. When Linkin Park and Jay-Z did their Collision Course album, I think that was 2003.
Yeah.
That was a huge game changer for me. I started to like just really open my eyes up to other genres and a combination of genres. And then, Swedish House Mafia was right around like the time that I started really like getting into like Billboard charts and like what's popular right now, other than just like what my dad was listening to or what was on the radio. Right. So at that point, that's when I really started to take interest in like electronic music and Swedish House Mafia, Martin Garrix, Tiesto. Those were some of my big first influences. Just because at the time, that was really what was popping.
Yeah. What about you?
I would say, oh man, I went through a hard emo phase. Like I was,
same.
You were in that too? Okay, yeah.
100%.
Not alone. We're not alone.
I lived those days hard. I still live those days. I'm gonna be honest with you. But I listened to pretty much everything that, like Blink-182. Like Sum 41, Linkin Park, obviously, like Rise Against, Billy Talent, a lot of Canadian bands. There's a lot of, I like Canadian bands, got to support the Canadians out here.
Sure. Yep.
But I also listen to like, was it Good Charlotte?
Yeah.
So good.
Basically everyone you just said, that was all like on my Walkman.
Yeah. Not a phase, Mom. Like everybody went through that phase so hard. Yeah. I did like I did Warped Tour like 6 years in a row. And then there was in New Jersey, they had, because I started going to festivals when I was like 14, but they were like pop or alternative rock. And there was one in New Jersey called Bamboozle that I went to literally 10 years in a row. And it was like so many good bands. I like loved, oh God, I love that music.
That's sick.
So
I'm jealous
Warped Tour
right
never
now.
came to Canada. I think they only came to Canada like once or twice. Yeah, so I never actually went to it. I've heard good things about it though.
Honestly, I think they came a little bit more, but like I think we were just too in our own little world.
Probably in our own world.
We were too focused on EDM.
It was a big deal though. Like when they came a couple years, maybe it was just they didn't come in a while or something, but like they did come and they came to Echo Beach. Sure.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it was literally the weekend after just like Digital Dreams.
Oh,
yeah.
So you know what? I remember that.
Yeah. So I got to ask you guys about your own music because clearly, for the record, you do not make disco, but you do have, I feel like you kind of go in and out of genres because I was going to say bass house or dubstep, but how would you describe your music to anybody listening?
You know what? I'm going to say this. DGF, Disco Godfathers, us, we just do not care. We do whatever the hell we want. We make whatever brand we feel, or whatever type of music we feel we want to make, right?
Yeah.
And we
always like we have this one thing that we always say to each other. It's like when you're a Godfather, like there's no rules.
There's no rules.
I love that.
Just because it's the two of us, right? Like when we get into the studio, we just create. Like there's never really an end goal, and that's kind of how we started making music. And we've both went. We've had instructors and mentors, and both went to school for producing and mixing and mastering and stuff. And even through all those courses, they really try to teach you workflow. And the one really big thing that I've taken from those workflow things is just be creative and like don't really like have a workflow. And this is going to probably get a little technical, but like it comes down to like your template, right? Like how you open up your DAW and like how you see everything like prepared for you. If you're just opening up like a blank whiteboard, you have a little bit harder time to get something going. But
for sure,
yeah, I mean that's.
Like we always try not to limit our creativity. We're not trying to like hone in on a specific genre. We're just like, what do we feel like right now? It's like,
right.
It's just so much better that way. Cause it's like, we have so much more fun. It's more,
we have some stuff coming out real soon, like a whole EP of things that is far from EDM. So
far from EDM actually.
And we're pretty stoked for that. And we've like lost sleep over thinking about how to release it. And that's where the Godfathers have no rules type of thing came from.
Yeah.
Like, you see a lot of artists catching, some heat and things from fans for
kind of switching it up.
Just stepping outside of their genre. And like, no artist should be limited to a genre. And like, one of our biggest influences to this day is Getter. And like when Getter caught, when Getter caught heat for dropping Bisco, like that was just uncalled for. Like, if you ask any artist, I would hopefully say that they would agree. Like, that album was amazing, and he went and stepped out of his comfort zone for that. And I feel like that's why we kind of tripped about this upcoming EP. But in the grand scheme of things, we're gonna release it under Disco Godfathers, but we're gonna kind of brand it differently. Like, we're gonna create like a sub entity of our brand. We're thinking and just be DGF.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like an alias, but like it's not because it's
I was
still
just
the
thinking
same
that in my head. Well, so first question, do you guys have like a certain set like number of tracks and a date you're going to release it, or are you still working on that?
So right now Spotify's they basically said that they're taking a lot longer to get songs through distribution, and it's all distributors like we release with DistroKid.
Okay.
And DistroKid is even saying that there's a 3 to 5 week like release pushback. And because of quarantine, like we actually just moved in together like a month ago.
Nice.
So we just recently got this EP like fully finished.
Okay.
And we were planning to release it in July, at the end of July, and it's probably looking like it's going to be August.
You push back. Yeah, for sure.
But hopefully we can get a single in there sometime, because we do have some stuff like already in the system that we're just kind of waiting to get approved. So
you brought up a good point though. I've had this conversation a couple times just about genres, because I do feel like some of my favorite artists kind of like go in and out. Like I'm a huge Seven Lions fan, and I feel like that man can kind of like do a little bit of everything. But some of my favorite people are like, I love the aliases of them. Like Eric Prydz has 2 aliases that I love, and like Oliver Heldens has an alias called Hilo that I'm like is super tech house, and I really dig that side of him. So I think it's really interesting when artists step out of their usual routine and do something completely different, especially now after quarantine. I've seen some live stream sets of like people doing completely different things. Like Jaws did a drum and bass set that was really fun that I liked from him. So I kind of enjoy it. I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to hear what you guys come out with.
Awesome. We're really stoked to release it. So
yeah, I'm like,
hopefully we can get it out there soon.
Hopefully you enjoy it. Like, honestly, I want you to love it. I want you to love it. All the new stuff that we're going to try and drop in the next year or so, we're trying to go balls to the wall. Mm-hmm. We're going to just like do whatever the hell we want. And hopefully you guys will love it. And I think people will like it, because we're doing what we want, but at the same time we're grasping. We know what you want, but we're going to do it our way. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, you have to be happy with it at the end of the day. But are you guys, I know you haven't been together like just as a duo too long. Are you focused on collabs as well? Or like, how do you feel about, doing that with other artists every now and then?
Yeah, we have released a couple collabs in the past. What do we got out right now? We've worked on a bunch of collabs, but we just haven't released them. So we got out 2 or 3 right now, but we actually love working on collabs with artists, to answer your question in full there. It's really inspiring to get with another artist, and especially with COVID, there's not necessarily time to get into the studio together. Yeah. But even Zoom, like what we're using right now, right? It's an amazing tool to share your screen and get on like a video call with another producer and just kind of catch a vibe, start a track. And every collab that we've worked on has always taken us personally out of our comfort zone. And it's most of the time it's because you're always learning something new from another artist. And you're going like you get the project back and you're like, yo, how did you how did you do that? Or like, what did you do to get like it to sound like that type of thing? And you're always learning like new techniques and things. And then when you go back and you work on a single, for example, you try to like apply that technique in your own way. Right. And you always get really cool results. So I find that collabs are great ways to not only, get quality content, but to also just learn and really increase your skills. Yeah, for sure. Do you have any dream collabs? Put it out there in the universe. Oh my God.
I know Chloe can answer that. There's so many dream collabs. It's like, I want to collab with like Dirty Snatcher. I want to do something with that guy. Yo, Dirty, what's up?
I want to do something with Getter, but with Tara Reid.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Any genre.
Lizzie Jane is a collab that we really do want to like work on. I don't know if you know Lizzie Jane. She's from the Tampa area. She's been actually friggin' killing it right now. So shout out to Lizzie Jane.
Okay, I gotta put everything out there in the world. We're gonna manifest good collabs for you to come in the future.
Awesome. Excited.
Awesome.
I was gonna ask you guys too. As far as like some of these frat parties you played, are these like in Canada frat parties, and what are those experiences like for you when you were first starting?
Oh. Okay,
there were some crazy experiences.
Those days that was like a whole time period for us, those we call it the frat house days, because those days were just like a blur of so many parties.
So many frat houses.
So many.
There was times like, because around here, like universities are pretty big, but like when we drive through, like when we drive to Florida and we drive past like some of the universities down there and some of like the sports fields and some of the campuses, and we had never played a frat in America, but we've heard about the size of the houses and stuff like that. It does not compare. Like I'll tell you that off the bat. It does not compare to what we're about to tell you. But the parties down here, like the frat parties down here, are better than your average house party. Like still a 13-person house, and they like sell tickets for us to play. So it was like a legit experiment experience. They had like gate corrals out front of had gate like corrals out front of their house and stuff, and like normally run them on like Halloweens or like homecoming or stuff like that. So those would be like the big parties. A couple times though, we would get asked to DJ like the mixers, and we're neither of us are frat. Like we both didn't.
I'm far from that. I'm emo.
Secondary school, like high school education and music education. That's it. But yeah, so like I don't even know where to go.
Oh, dude,
it's so weird.
Honestly, it's because it was such a blur for us because we honestly at that time we were just kids. Like we still are kids, but we were younger kids.
We weren't even in school, so it was like a totally new experience to us.
Yeah.
Like so pulling up to these parties was like, all right, like we're gonna go to a frat mixer party where like mixers are just like just the frats and the sororities. So like no outsiders, like no tickets. It's just like a bunch of Chads and Brads around.
Yeah.
So many Chads and Brads. Sorry, boys. Sorry, boys.
Some of the frat boys are dope, but like
they're dope. But there's you guys are so Chad and Brad.
That stereotype is definitely a stereotype. But like just going into those mixers is totally different than those open parties. So I'd have to say that the open party days are like the open parties versus the mixers way better because you'd be like 10 times the people.
Oh, it was nuts.
The basements too, like
yeah. Oh, I know.
Really, the would be sweating like.
Yeah.
Gross. And like there would always be like one, like little strip pole in the middle that would be broken by 11 o'clock.
Sure. Yeah.
And might be a weapon by 12. So like you gotta watch out. And like but some of the like there's some pretty crazy nights that happen there. Like the footage and even the music selection that we would be playing would be not what we would be playing now.
It's actually how though we like playing those frat houses how we got good at just DJing, not just EDM though.
That's true.
Like just playing anything, like because we wouldn't take requests, but we knew what they wanted to hear. Right. Like if it was hip hop, and even though we used to throw EDM in there a lot, actually, we used to almost be like, hey, if you guys like this, then let's play this next track.
See if you like this.
See if you like that, and then
we'd be playing for 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Wow.
Like 8 to 10
like
hours.
An art form in itself, playing that long. My God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was. I remember the one time.
It's nuts.
One time McVeigh was just chilling there, and he looks at me and he's like, "Dude, I don't know how long it's been, but I think I definitely set the record, my personal like record." Because he was always like bragging about like we'd always have like a competition, me and him, right? Because we have to keep it like competitive between us.
Some sort of
for sure,
yeah. And he's like, "Man, I was DJing for like." It's like mark it on your phone, man. It's like 7 hours and 30 minutes or something. And I'm like, oh my God.
I think that was the same night too, that one of the CDJs broke. Cause obviously we always had one of these nights where, people get wasted and drinks get spilled.
Right.
And this was the first night that this happened. So we learned from our mistakes after this, but we had a drink get spilled on the one CDJ and it was only like 1:30 and like these parties go till like 5 o'clock. Right.
For sure. Yeah.
So we were still we still had a long night ahead of us. And we ended up just using one CDJ, but in between, like when we loaded the track, because like we have to play like a whole song out every time now. It was like 1:30 and we're playing whole songs out because we only have one CDJ.
Oh my God, I remember that. That was sucked.
But it's a frat, so everybody's still just like,
they have no idea what's happening. Yeah,
literally no idea what's happening. So like we'd get to like the end of a song and like you just hear like a noise, like a white noise, because there's a white noise on a DJ mixer. And we just kind of crank this white noise up. And then I'd grab the mic and I'd go like, oh. Yeah. And everybody would start chanting it. And then I'd wait for the song to load, hit play, and then just turn it up. And then it was just like, oh, this is just painful. But
I remember the one time we were playing, we started playing like really crazy house music, like really fast type, like
speed house.
Like speed house. Like, I don't even know. It was some crazy, we were on some shit though. Like we were talking like creative wise on the tables. Like we were just, I remember we were playing at like weird BPMs and then messing around with like night-based tunes. And then like, I don't know.
That was a really good time to experiment with.
Yeah, we were just experimenting.
You could fuck up and nobody knew.
Yeah, exactly. But like it almost was amazing because I remember one time, like you would drop like a song and then it would go. I remember one time it was accidentally at 140 BPM when it meant to be 128. Yeah, and then it sounded amazing, and then everyone just started beating the shit out of the walls, and then they were like. So many holes in the walls because it was like house music, and everything was destroyed. And I'm like, "What is happening? What is going on?"
I actually remember the song. It was Chicken Soup. So if
yeah, there you go. That makes a lot of sense.
Chicken soup at 140 gets people going.
I guess. I don't know.
No.
They go hard there. It was
burn into his memory. Well, like cut to now, like what is it like playing shows now? Like how do you guys approach a set? Like do you feel, because you guys are, like you said, you play a little bit of everything, whatever you're feeling. So how do you approach like either a smaller show or versus like a festival?
Yeah, we definitely learned from those Frat things that like when you're playing 8 hours, it's hard to plan like a whole 8 hours, right? So when we were playing that, comparatively speaking, we would literally pick an opening song and like, 5 songs that are like chart toppers that are like gonna for sure get people going. And that's all we would think about before. We just have a USB with maybe 1,000 songs on it and be like, put it in there and just kind of shuffle through.
Right.
Now when we're playing, and it's any show, any set, like radio shows, festivals, clubs, anything. We're always creating a new set. And we just like record boxes is very, very key. You just kind of load up your music on there, go through it all, kind of catch a vibe. We like to create intros. So like we go into Ableton and we make a different intro for every show type thing. Nice. We try to keep it themed if we can to like our set.
Yeah.
And then, we just go through and we pick like 60 to 80 songs, mark our cue points, and then just kind of play it by ear. A lot of songs that we've played in other sets, they already have, they're already cue pointed up. We already really, really know them. So most of the time when we're creating a new set, we're getting like 10 to 15 new songs. And we always try to incorporate 5 to 10 tracks of our own between unreleased and released.
Yeah.
We still do play some of the stuff like our first ever track more. We still play it every now and then, but we're trying to get to the point where we can kind of like phase those tracks out and start playing more unreleased stuff and other artists' work. Like some of our producer buddies have a lot of talent in our close network. So I'm just trying to support as many people as we can too.
Trying to get those tracks. We're trying to collab with a lot of people too in the future and help out also the people around us that have helped us out like immensely through this journey, just because I don't know, it's crazy to think, like, honestly, when we were playing in frat houses and like going back to that time period where like it was kind of just like figuring out what we could do and like the potential and like the power that we had with the tables and DJing and being a group and just this power we had. I don't know, it's undescribable. It's weird.
Yeah.
And it's just weird, like coming from that and then realizing, hey, I'm in Florida now.
Yeah.
At EDC, and I'm in like now, and we know also, shout out to everyone in Florida that has helped us along the way. Like it's crazy.
I can't even begin to list everybody.
There's so many people. I love, honestly, like all my American friends, all you Americans out there, I love you guys. Like
it's been a year. Like,
it's been a year for you guys too.
And we've been, we've been separated. Like when COVID happened, we were in Florida.
Yeah.
Wow.
March 13th, we flew into Florida. We were literally thinking we were possibly going to be the last flight out of Canada because of what was going on in the news.
Yeah.
We had a show on the 14th. Was it the 14th? Yeah, it was on the 14th. The post is still behind me on the wall.
Oh my God.
And then we played and then we had to catch another flight home on the 15th.
Okay.
And we had 3 other shows. That show's in Fort Lauderdale. We were going to head to Daytona, like literally the next morning.
Jeez.
And then we were going to come back down through Daytona to Orlando, and then back down into Fort Lauderdale to play one more show. And all that got wiped. It's funny, my dad was actually going to come and meet us down in Florida. Shout out Pops, but fucking he didn't make it.
Couldn't make it because the apocalypse kind of happened.
So you had to fly back pretty much right after that, and then you've been home since?
Yeah, we've been home since. So we were lucky enough to have a place to stay when we were down there for just a couple of days, and we actually were lucky enough to be able to cancel our Airbnb without getting like a huge hit. So
sure, yeah.
It just really sucked that we weren't able to.
Right?
It was 24 hours. Like we thought we were good.
Nuts. Honestly, I remember flying down. We're in the airport. I hear talk.
This is the first time we flew down too, and of course, it's the time that it's probably the sketchiest time.
Exploding,
yeah. And we get down there, and I start kind of sensing that something was super wrong. Like I was like, all right, and then, but I knew, and honestly, I'm gonna say this because like. This guy was definitely, I was terrified way before he even knew what was a problem, like how the fear set in for him. But we also like deal with fear different because I was like, honestly, when I heard this shit was happening, I freaked out. Like I lost my mind. I'm going to be honest with you. It like scared the crap out of me. And I was washing my hands like every 5 minutes. This guy's like, dude, calm down. Just chill. It was bad. He's like, dude, you got to calm down. But I remember when it happened, I'm looking at the TV and I couldn't even believe that like 3 days ago, I was just sitting there in the studio.
Yeah.
And
everything was
fine. Everything was fine. Like
it seemed like everything was all good. We're like, we got to get our set ready. Like, we're leaving Florida in 3 days.
I can't even imagine. Well, I'm glad you guys got back home, but in Florida, obviously, as we're seeing now, like it's been weird being in the United States, seeing how other states had handled it because other places were still open for biz. And like in New Jersey and New York City, everything was shut down from the beginning. But we had to go to Ultra and literally I had like a whole rave fam that I was going with. And like, we had phone calls every day. Like first we were like, okay, what are we going to do? Then they canceled the whole festival. It like sends waves through the whole festival industry. And then we're like, we're still doing Miami Music Week. Buy up all these tickets to all the nightclub shows. Next day, a couple get canceled. We're like, we're still going to go. We're going to go to the beach and we're going to enjoy it. And then finally we pulled out of it. We were like, this is so irresponsible. And then days later, they shut down all of Miami. So
that was the other thing too. We were going to go. That was like the main reason for our trip. Like when we first went to Florida in November, we were talking to like the promoters and our buddies that booked us. And we're like, what is like Miami Music Week like? Like we hear all these good things about it. And like, there's nothing like that in Canada. Like we really want to come down and check it out. And they're like, let's do it. Like we'll hook you guys up with, a place to stay and let's run it. And we were obviously more than down to do it. So hopped on a plane and then Corona.
Yeah.
So, we're definitely going to be hitting Miami Music Week, whatever, 2021, 2022. I don't know what it's going to be.
21 ever, I'm coming.
Yeah, Florida
doesn't care.
Look like this place right
I think so. I mean, even if they can just do that, because I know a lot of people give like a lot of shit to Miami. Like they say like, oh, they don't really want to have Ultra there. But Miami Music Week, I did it once in 2017. It was like my favorite part. I wish we did it more because the pool parties, like the energy of that going into the clubs is so much fun. And people are just wild in Florida.
Oh my God.
And then Ultra too, right? That would have been like, that's always the same week. So it's just such a huge buildup. It seems like it would be like the craziest week in Florida. So we definitely have to hit it up.
Yeah, it's nuts. But is there any like dream festivals for you guys that you would want to play?
I really like, to be honest, there's no festivals in Canada that like really appeal to us. I'd love to play at Digital Dreams in Toronto. It's like one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, me too.
It's just kind of like, that's one of my first festivals. So that would be really, really cool to play at. But I've never been to Izu.
Izu's fun. Yeah.
I want to play at Izu. I just see the stage designs and everybody, like all of my rave group, everybody that's been, it's the festival that they talk the highlight, like the highest stuff. And most of them have done like Lost Lands and they've done EDC and stuff like that. So, and I have not. We've actually, neither of us have done Lost Lands.
I've heard such things about that too. Yeah.
Right. And that's another one that like we would love to play at as well.
Oh, I want to play there so bad.
And like, that's the thing. That's why it's so weird for us though, because like once we release this EP, we're going to have to really maintain like,
the not give a fuck attitude.
Yeah. Because we could almost lose out on that opportunity, but like, we hope that doesn't happen, but
it's not,
we have a lot more fire dubstep to drop. And then like, a lot of festivals now are really opening up their lineups. So we see a lot more live acts performing, right? Like I almost find that I see a lot more interest in live acts. Remember the first festival that I went to, Justice headlined and it was a live set.
Oh wow.
And it was like everybody and it was on the main stage. It was like everybody from the main stage went over to the bass tent and was like, nah. And like I was like, yo, Justice, like I was not expecting this, but like I vibed out to the whole set and I was like, this is actually kind of cool.
For sure.
And then you have people doing a whole bunch of more like live sets. I think I saw
do you remember Keys and Crates back in the day?
Okay, is doing a bunch of live sets.
Oh my God, Keys and Crates were amazing. I've seen them a few times. They're awesome.
Right? Seen them? Okay,
they're from Toronto. They're Canadian.
Are they really?
Shout out Keys and Crates. Yeah, like
shout out the boys.
And they actually came and they played at Ever After, which is literally in our hometown. Like we lived 10 minutes away from Ever After Festival grounds.
Honestly, where this is right now is legit. I could walk to Ever After, like where it is.
I'm curious too, before I let you guys go here, just in general, like how has this time in the past few months been for you creatively? Like, do you feel like it gave you a break to work on music? Did that speed up the process of the EP, or was it also like a little bit unmotivating at the same time, just with everything going on?
You know what? I'm gonna say this. It was everything that you said all in one big ball. Okay. Literally, because
a lot of people, it seems to be the same kind of feeling now.
It was a whirlwind of events.
Yeah, like at first I'm sitting in my parents' house because I went and I had to move out of my house because we were gonna sell the house I live in right now, and I had to move back to my parents for a bit. And I was like, oh my god, I'm going back to my parents' house. This sucks. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm at my parents' house. I have no studio. I can't really make music because, like, at the time, he was moving out of his place too. And then there was a bunch of things that are happening in both of our lives personally that, like, kind of prevented us from making music in general or slowed us down. So that kind of sucked. But then when COVID hit and everything else, it kind of like, it was like a ball of everything.
It gave us more time, like, especially like.
It did give us more time, though.
Time off work. I agree with exactly what you said. It was like all over the place.
It was
when we were like when he was at his parents' house. He was like technically quarantining there, and like we didn't see each other for like 2 weeks once we got home from Florida.
Wow.
So we do have like because this is the first time we've lived together, but we've always been working remotely, like from each other's and like houses in the sense, and so we have a really good system for that.
Okay.
But now that we're together, it's just
it's like
intensified. It's
crazy. I wake up in the morning and he looks at me and he's like, all right, we're making a track. And it's like, that never used to happen. You know, that I used to wake up in the morning and be like, oh my God, I got to go to work. But now it's,
now we're just both here ready to go.
I would say though, COVID was shitty at first, but then to be honest, actually helped us in the end. Mm-hmm. But it was terrible at first. Like it was like the lowest low that I have had in my life in a long time.
Just not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for playing shows and returning back to Florida. Like we really have a huge place in our heart for Florida and everybody down in Florida that we've
they helped us so much.
No, I appreciate you being honest. I feel like everybody went through a similar thing, and it's interesting. A lot of people have said the same thing, like they were also personally dealing with things like moving or other like really big life changes, besides from like some people losing their jobs or getting furloughed or anything like that. So I agree with you. I felt like on any given day, one day I could wake up the most motivated, energized, like so excited about creating content and things like that and where things are going. And the next day, like sobbing, being like, none of this fucking matters. Like, what the hell?
My life.
Literally how I feel though.
Yeah. It was very, very bizarre. I feel like now, I mean, I think summer and having better weather and things like that obviously helps, but we can't do what we love, right? Like at the end of the day, like your hobby of like going to shows and performing for people and doing that, like it's taken away and we don't have an answer as to when it'll come back. So it's kind of like coming to terms with that. But in the meantime, it's been great to see people like stepping up and like these companies putting on these live streams and crazy virtual festivals and things like that. Like I think we're just doing the best we can with what we have right now. And I think, that initial shock is kind of like settling a little bit. So like investing in your music and stuff like that, it's just like the perfect use of your time, but it's also like okay to go easy on yourself most days because this is not normal for anybody, Yeah.
I feel like that really helped us because we were able to like kind of slow things down a little bit, take a step back and just like you said, like don't always have to feel the pressure of like not working or of working and when you're not working, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because at the beginning of COVID, like Call of Duty Warzone was our best friend. Like, that's how we would talk. Like I'd be like, yo, want to play Warzone? We'd hop in a party and be like, yo, what's up? Like
I don't want to play Warzone, but
like, and just like kind of catch up because like we both had, very little motivation to work on music and just really couldn't see the end of the light there. So
you know what though, I will say the EDM world and the EDM community is amazing because they're still doing what they can like to provide people what they need, because I miss my friends out there. I miss like all the lovely people that I met throughout this like journey that we both taken. And like
for sure,
man, the EDM I'm gonna say this, the EDM community is the nicest like people in the world. Like everyone is the best, honest to God. I can't wait to meet more people, when this is all over.
Too. Like we've been pretty blessed. We always have great interactions with the people that are following us on Twitter and like, our family. Like I don't want to call them fans because it's really just family.
It's just family, like DGF fam. Like you guys,
I've seen people like on our Twitter and on our Instagram, like helping people out, just like when people need a helping hand to like get by with their bills during this, and like Cash App,
that's nuts,
a few bucks and shit. Like we don't have Cash App down here because that's a US currency thing, but like it's been really, really inspiring to see how tight knit this community is and how quickly they can come together to lend anybody a helping hand. So it's
crazy.
I agree. I'm clipping that. That was perfect. So well said. Okay, my last question before I let you guys go here. What are you most excited about right now?
Most likely, I think we're probably going to agree on this. We have been working on this collab with Rico Act for 2 years almost now. Wow. And it's not Rico's it's our problem. We've been loafed in
Rico, I'm sorry, man. We need to get...
we're sorry, Rico, but this track is basically finished now. We just had to... because of our split, when we had 3 people and then we had 2 people, we didn't want to release the same product that we had originally came up with our trio. And the way that this project was formed didn't allow us to just kind of like take the lyrics and start from scratch. So we really had to study the project and create a song with a similar arrangement and style to be able to incorporate Rico.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
So it's actually going to be quite an interesting track if you know the history behind it. I feel like.
Honestly, I'm gonna say the same thing though. I'm super pumped for that Rico track that we got going on. It's sounding pretty crazy now, that's for sure. It's got these. It's very dubsteppy.
Yeah.
Very, very dubsteppy.
Back to some of our first releases.
That's awesome.
So. Obviously it's dubstep. We gotta go hard, Rico. He goes hard as hell. That's for sure.
For sure.
And with that song though, there's kind of a history behind that song a little bit because he's a G. Rico is a G.
Yes.
I'm shouting him out so hard because he literally, what did we do? We were on Twitter and
we were on Twitter. So we just like randomly cooked up this project one night. I tweeted him, just like on our Disco Godfathers thing. I tweeted like, yo, just cook something. And like, I feel like Rico, like, and tagged him. Like, I feel like Rico Act would be fire for this. And he replied back and he was like, yo, send it. And sent like in the DM, send me his email, and within like 3 days, his team had gotten back to us and was like, "Yeah, no, Rico's down to do this. Like, let's work together." So that was super inspiring. But like I said, we were loafed in asses. That was like almost 2 years ago. So we gotta fucking get our shit together.
Yeah, that though the reason, and I will explain, like the reason why it took so long with that track is because we also had to grow a lot ourselves as like artists and producers, and we had to learn because we went through a lot of like I'm not gonna say shit, I'm gonna say like teach like learning experiences, you know what I mean? A lot of mistakes. You have to make a lot of mistakes to learn, right? So we had to make a lot more mistakes in order for us to be able to execute this project correctly.
Yeah, but like 2 years ago, we were in no position to kind of have such a large feature. It felt like, at least for us, like we stumbled upon that opportunity, and we were super blessed that Rico was like vibing with the track and able to and was willing to give us that opportunity.
Right.
But like when we made that track, it felt like that shit like came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And it took us a while to actually like manifest that into other projects as well, because we were still at such like a big learning phase. And that's what we begin to notice as well in our working workflow.
It's in 10 different songs, 100%.
The final one that I felt was the best. So
it's interesting to hear. I mean, it's interesting for everybody to hear like what goes in behind the scenes, because I feel like that's a case with a lot of different people. Like you have no idea how many times a track has been edited or sent back and forth before they hear the final product. So I'm sure it waited for a reason, and it'll be that much better when you guys finally release it. So you have to send it to me when you're ready to go.
We're sending it.
Once it's mixed and mastered, you'll get the private link.
Everything we do, we'll just send to you. Don't worry.
Oh my God, I love it. I love discovering new music. I always put out like a new music Friday playlist on Spotify every Friday with my favorite releases. It's like the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning.
Awesome.
Oh, that's amazing.
Checking Spotify, like what has come out today.
Check the release radar,
Yep. But before I let you go, what is your social media handles? Plug where everybody can find you.
Yeah, so you can find both of us at Disco Godfathers on Instagram, on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff as well. And then our personals are McBay, and then Call Me Culture.
Call Me Culture.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to hold on 1 second. I'm going to just stop the recording here, but
take it easy. It was such a blessing to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, you guys. I really, really hope you enjoyed that interview with DGF. It was so much fun talking to them and getting to know them. Like I said, like, could not be more down to earth, like humble dudes. Like, it was seriously just a really nice conversation, and I really love meeting new people, especially in this community. So it was fun. I feel like we talked forever. It was a long interview. But yeah, thank you guys so much for spending time with me and for coming on today. I hope you really enjoy their music. There's nothing I love more than introducing people to new music and new artists. I do that every Friday with my Spotify playlist, but this was a fun one. Really, I couldn't say more like positive things about them. They're definitely an up-and-coming artist that you guys should have your eye on. So stay tuned for their EP release. We're all very excited about it. And definitely go give them a follow, show them some love and support at Disco Godfathers, tell them you came over from Rave Culture Cast, and do all the things, stream the music on Spotify. But without further ado, you guys, we are gonna do EDM news and then songs of the week and then wrap this whole thing up. How does that sound? Okay, where do we wanna start with EDM news? I quickly wanted to recap the Tomorrowland stream because I haven't really shared my thoughts on it, and I did end up purchasing tickets literally the day of. So I kind of like, I really thought I wasn't gonna do it, and then my best friend Vicky and I were like, okay, why don't we just like, you know, sit alone in our, like in her apartment and just like watch the Tomorrowland stream together. So that's what we did, and it was worth every penny. I gotta say, they went above and beyond any live stream production I've seen, any virtual festival. Like, I honestly expected like nothing less, but they surpassed my expectations. I believe there were over 1 million viewers throughout the 2-day event. And just some background on it, because I was curious like how they set it all up. Like when you went to the website, it was like a virtual world. You could click around this map and then click on the different stages, and then the DJ was in this like virtual stage. It was honestly so fucking cool. Like, it was the closest I felt to actually being in like a crowd or atmosphere. Like when I put the Eric Prydz Holosphere set on, I put it on my TV, and I was like jumping around my living room having the best time. It really honestly made me feel so good. So if other festivals follow suit, I think it's worth the money. Anyway, so it said they had 4 different video studios around the world that were used to film the sets. So they had green screen studios constructed in Belgium, Belgium, in the United States, in Los Angeles, in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, in Australia, and Sydney. Hosted the 60+ artists who stopped by to film their sets prior to the event. So that's something I was actually wondering about. I was curious if like people were popping in and out of a studio, but I had figured everything was filmed, like pre-recorded, so that made a lot of sense. It said 38 digital cameras were built into the virtual concert spaces, including 6 4K Ultra HD cameras, which allowed for rapid cuts between shots of the director's discretion. Crazy. The other cool thing is like you could relive the sets up until a week after the event. So I ended up not going back to watch any of them, but yeah, guys, it was honestly fantastic. I don't know if they're gonna upload any of the sets, no idea, but yeah, if any of you guys watched, I'm sure you would say the same things. I thought it was worth everything, so that was really, really cool. All right, next we gotta talk about the Chainsmokers, because they're in hot frickin' water. So, okay, I feel like everybody's heard about this. I don't know if they hosted it, but they played a drive-in show in Southampton, New York, and it kind of went viral everywhere because there was this photo on Twitter from the perspective of the Chainsmokers into the crowd, and it looked like a fucking concert. Like, it did not look like a socially distanced tailgating drive-in rave. It looked like a full-blown concert, and my first thought was like, I thought it was from the past. I didn't think it was like this had happened. No, bitch, it had happened. So just from an article on Now This, it said it was a drive-in concert, in quotations, headlined by the Chainsmokers. It is being investigated by New York's health department after the event was hit with backlash for drawing in a massive crowd during the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. On Monday night, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo tweeted a widely circulated video of the event, which showed a crowd of people at the concert standing very closely together, not wearing masks. And he wrote, "I'm appalled. The Department of Health will conduct an investigation. We have no tolerance for the illegal and reckless endangerment of public health. And it said the concert was advertised as a tailgate show, and it was supposed to be socially distanced. It was held in New York's affluent Southampton community on Long Island. It said the event drew in more than 3,000 people and 600 vehicles, which paid up to $25,000 for 20 by 20 parking spots. Who the fuck's paying that much money to go see the Chainsmokers? Y'all, what are we doing here? And then it said, I don't even know, like, I think one of the biggest problems, it said there was a VIP pit area in the very front, which is where most of the problems, in quotation marks, were. So I don't know. Okay, I don't know if the Chainsmokers have had a response to this yet. I have many thoughts on it. I'm not in the party of like, fuck the Chainsmokers, this is their fault, like it should all be blamed on them. I'm definitely not in that camp. If they actually like hosted the event and it was them and their production company who was in charge of it, then that's one thing. But from seeing my friends go to other like EDM drive-in events who said the security was like really tight and really on top of their shit, they were like, if you were walking around or you went to another car, they were quick to break that up. Like they were, you know, checking like how many people are supposed to be in a car and is that the amount of people standing next to it. So whoever was security and whoever was running the production failed completely miserably, and it should be on them 100%. Like they should have been way stricter about people walking around and standing next to each other. So I don't really think it's fair to put all of the blame on the Chainsmokers. I think whoever was security and like running that event failed miserably. However, they're saying that the Chainsmokers are advertising or were advertising other shows like this that they were going to be playing. So they're kind of just saying like, since this one went so horribly wrong, you better make sure that that's not going to happen again. Because on the flip side, you have these artists who were scheduled for festivals in the fall who were canceling and pulling out of it, saying, I'm not comfortable playing a festival in the fall, period. So I'm not going to play it and I'm not going to be on your lineup, which if everybody pulls out, you don't have a festival. Similar to what's happening with sports. If all the players pull out saying, I don't feel safe, you're not going to have a season. So, you know, if the Chainsmokers were smart, they'd be like, this one failed miserably. We're not going to put our names on another one moving forward. So anyway, it just ruins it for everyone else, and that's why I'm so heated, because the only thing we have right now is EDM drive-in shows. So if those start getting canceled because of a bunch of idiots, I'm gonna be hella pissed. So get your shit together, wear a mask and socially distance, follow the rules like everybody else. It's not that hard. Whew. Okay. In other news, Imagine Music Festival went ahead and they just, boom, dropped their lineup for 2021. Does it physically pain anybody else that this is 2021? Like I looked at this lineup and I was like, wow, I'm so excited to go to that, thinking it's like this fall. It's not. It's in like a year and a half. But anyway, it's going to be taking place September 17th through the 19th, 2021. Phase 1 is friggin' incredible. I've been hearing things that this was going to be this year's lineup, so I'm not sure if it's exactly the same or there's a couple changes, but it's caught my eye. That's all I'm saying. Headliners are Millennium, Cascade, and Griffin. Who else was standing out to me? Blau, Adventure Club, back-to-back, and then it's blurred out, so we don't know. BTSM, who else? Dabin, Ghost Rider, which is Ghastly, back-to-back, Joyride. Holy shit. Keizo, back-to-back, somebody that's blurred out. Lee Foss, this is my stage, okay? This was my favorite stage when I went last year. It's the Disco Inferno stage. It's headlined by Fisher, which will be fun. Lee Foss, Mala, Shiba-san, Walker and Royce, Noizu, Side Piece, Sunburn, Vanessa, Dylan, Nathaniel. Like, that's gonna be fantastic. That would be where I would be living. And then there's a Wakan Takeover, which is not my cup of tea, but I know that's gonna be a big draw for all my wooks and my bass heads. So you've got Liquid Stranger, Champagne Drip, back-to-back Lucid, Schlump, G-Rex, Sully, Wakan Family, back-to-back set. That would be really fun. And then you've got Black Gummy, who's an incredible techno artist. That's a Mousetrap fam. Who else is on here? Kayvon, No Mana, Of the Trees, Lick, a Cascade Daytime Pool Party second set. Wow. Is Cascade on here? Oh my god, yeah, I read that, okay. I'm losing my marbles. Okay, fantastic. I think that's gonna be fire. So I'm gonna wait and find out more details. At this point, I'll send it to every single festival in 2021, so there's a good chance I might be back, I'd imagine. Okay, next one I wanna say is an announcement from Hard, which is their Back Hard Barbecue. So if you guys are a fan of Hard Music Festival, Insomniac is throwing another virtual Rave-a-thon, Friday 8/7 and Saturday 8/8, where your house time, 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. Pacific. So that's not too bad. It's starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, so that's good. I do not think we have a lineup yet, but it's gonna be really fun, and I love that it's like a summer barbecue theme. So looking forward to that. We've got another Insomniac live stream to look forward to. All right, this next one has been all over social media, and I'm excited for it, so I couldn't wait to tell you guys about this one. So if any of you guys have seen this, Electric Zoo announced a new like travel experience, which is gonna take place in April 2020. No, it's 2020 now. April 2021. It's called like Izu Adventures, and it's the Cancun edition. It's April 2021, 5 days, 4 nights. It's basically like an Izu hotel takeover featuring live performances. There's gonna be a $20 deposit that you can put down, and packages for the hotel start at $699. So this is like a whole new experience that they're launching. Think of it as like a dream beach vacation with, you know, your favorite EDM acts performing in Cancun. So it's gonna be absolutely incredible. The one thing I wanted to say about this, guys, is surprise, I'm gonna be selling tickets. So I'm gonna have tickets through Pollen, and we are gonna have pre-sale access. So this episode comes out Wednesday. I'm not sure what day this week I'm gonna have access, but if you wanna go and you wanna put a deposit down, definitely DM me at Emma Kapotes and let me know, and stay tuned on my Instagram stories and page for the announcement, because I have a feeling this shit is gonna fill up real fast. So if you guys definitely want to get tickets to this and do this trip, which sounds amazing, DM me and I will hook you up next week, or this week since it's coming out. But this is something I would be interested in, to be completely honest with you. I don't know where like the state of traveling is going to be, or the coronavirus is going to be in 2021. Coronavirus! I just heard the Cardi B sound in my head. Oh my god. But hopefully Cancun will be okay, and I mean, like, let's fingers crossed the vaccine is out at that point. But yeah, definitely something I'm interested in doing. So that'd be cool if we could all go and hang out and have like a little Rave Culture Cast family meetup in Cancun. All right, last thing, my voice is dying. Deadmau5 announced that he is going to be hosting a drive-in show in Toronto. So this is a new scenic venue called City View. It's a drive-in that caters to concerts, movie nights, corporate events, and more. It's Toronto's newest outdoor concert and entertainment venue. So yeah, Deadmau5 is going to be hosting it Friday, August 14th with support from Manzone and Strong. So yeah, if you guys are interested, that sounds like a really cool event. I think tickets are on sale Monday, August 3rd, so at this point they might be sold out already. I'm not really sure, but it's cool to see him jumping in the game there. I feel like that would be such a fun set to see at a drive-in rave. I would absolutely love that. So, whoo, you guys, that is all of our EDM news this week. We got a lot going on. All right, let me do our songs of the week, and then I will let you all go on with your merry day. So, okay, first and foremost, we got to shout out last week's guest, Bijou. His album, Diamond City, let's just take a moment. Let's just take a moment to let that sink in. Fire. So fire. It's better than I thought it was going to be. I cannot stop playing it. I have a lot of favorites, but I think my favorite, besides Fantasy, which I already liked, that single was out before, West Side with Dr. Fresh makes me pop all parts of my body. That's all I'm gonna say. So good. So check out West Side, and just check out Bijou's Diamond City album in general, and go back and listen to that episode if you haven't listened already. Griffin's new song, Cry, hits you in the feels. It's all the elements of a Griffin song that you would love. Really, really incredible new track, so I was into that. I really love Adventure Club's new song, which Adventure Club has been hit or miss for me. Some songs I really love. Some songs are like not my cup of tea. And I don't know, I like the new music we're getting out of them. I feel like they're going in a good direction. And their new song with Dia Frampton is called High Like This. It's just a really new fun sound and vibe for them. I really like the drop in it. So check out High Like This from Adventure Club. And then lastly, Gigi McGree's new song, Nervous Habits. hit all the right chords with me. It's featuring Joey Fleming, who I believe is a singer of like a pop punk rock band. So if any of you guys saw my recent YouTube video where I talk about how all former emo and scene kids are now ravers, 10 out of 10 recommend. I had so much fun working on that video. I am a former pop punk kid. Actually, not even former. I'm a pop punk kid in heart. So this gave me those vibes. It was a good combination of like vocals with Gigi McGree's vibe. So her song Nervous Habits, definitely check that out. And with that, you guys, we made it to the end of the episode. Thank you all so much for listening, for supporting. Screenshot and share this with your audience. Tag at Rave Culture Cast and at Emma Kapotes. Rate and review on iTunes. And yeah, give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at Emma Kapotes and at Rave Culture Cast. And don't forget to go subscribe over on YouTube and say what's up. Oh yeah, and lastly, join the Facebook group. Would love to see you guys in there. I'm gonna plan another family Zoom call. We already did one. That was so much fun. So I would love to meet more of you guys. So join the Facebook group and stay tuned. I will be making another announcement about that very soon. And yeah, don't forget to send in your Listener of the Week nominations. But with that, I hope you all have an incredible day. Enjoy your weekend, you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will be back next Wednesday with a new episode. Peace.